They used the Nile to travel and bring goods. They farmed along the Nile. They needed water to drink. They fished out the Nile. They used papyrus plants to make paper. When the Nile River flooded, they dug a canal near the plants to help them grow. They used mud and straw to build houses. What are human resources? Human resources are traders, pharaohs, servants, field workers, and craftsmen, and scribes. Paper is made from a papyrus plant. It grows along the banks of the Nile River. It floods to make the papyrus grow. There is a contribution from the Egyptians.
They had made paper from papyrus plant. They cut the papyrus plant and smashed them down. They put them in a pot of water. The water came from the Nile River. They took them out of the water and smashed them down. So that's how they made papyrus paper.
They use water clocks. They use obelisks. Water clocks work day and night. The bodies that mark the water lines. Our clock does not keep track of time. Our clock keeps track of time. Their clock does not. Environmental needs. They farmed with the wet soil from when the Nile flooded. They also carried goods on boats across the Nile. They fished for food from the Nile, and they drank and got water from the Nile. Also, when the Nile flooded, it helped make the papyrus plant so the Egyptians could make paper.
Clock is a contribution from the Egyptians. They used a water clock, but we use an hour clock and a digital
These
watch.
are things that come from nature. The natural resources they used were wheat, flax, stone, straw, papyrus plants, and the Nile River. They used them because they needed to live. And the Nile was helpful because it flooded. It made the crops grow.
Egyptians communicated by hieroglyphics. Hieroglyphics are picture writing. They wrote their animals and land in some lines. Some hieroglyphics became a sound. Now hieroglyphics are words. They write them in pyramids.
The resources are people. They had pharaohs, farmers, and traders, scribes, craftsmen. They used a pharaoh to rule their land. Farmers grew crops next to the Nile River. Traders traded on boats. Craftsmen made all kinds of crafts. That's all about the river.
They used the Nile River for water to drink. They also needed food, so they fished. The Egyptians also traveled and traded on the Nile. They wrote on papyrus paper from papyrus plant. They used linen to make their clothes. And every year the Nile would flood, and it would give them rich soil to plant crops and eat and to make the
Resources are things that come from nature. The Nile River, papyrus plant, straw, Red Sea, the sun, crops, or natural resources. They use stone to make pyramids and tombs. They use the sun for the crops. They use crops to eat when they're hungry. Resources are things people make. They make 365-day calendars, clocks, and paper. They use the calendar to know when the Nile River would flood. They use the clock to know what time it is. They use the paper to write hieroglyphics. They use a hammer to flat papyrus to make paper. They use the shadoof to get water and probably fish.
Use capital resources like a hammer. They made capital resources to help them through their daily life jobs, day and night. Paper was made from papyrus.
and the hammer smashed the papyrus to make paper. They used the knife.
Architecture is building and designing. The Egyptians built pyramids. They used stones that weigh 8,000 pounds. It took thousands of workers to build it. They were built as tombs or places to bury their
Egyptians communicated by using something called hieroglyphics. Hieroglyphics are picture writing. Each picture soon became a sound. The Egyptians wrote hieroglyphics on papyrus paper and they carved it on the pyramids before the pharaoh died. Hieroglyphics are hard to read sometimes, but fun to learn. I love learning about
Architecture is building and designing long-lasting buildings. The Egyptians built pyramids. The pyramids are made of big blocks of stone. They could bury the pharaohs. They put gold, treasure, servants, furniture, and food to put inside of the tombs.
I'd like to teach about pyramids and crops and the Nile River. They grow crops with the Nile River and built pyramids with stone.